Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Dynasty Podcast with Borg, Betz, and a Baller.
Welcome in. It's Wednesday, September 17th here. Fantasy Footballers Dynasty Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Borganoni, and I am joined by Matthew Betz and Mike Wright.
Welcome in, boys. We are basically in week 14 with Carson Wentz under center, maybe Marcus Mariota under center, Jake Browning under center. I mean, here we are. We've entered that part of the season where the backup quarterback play
year
is
it's not great.
It should be a fun week. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yes, I'm sad because I do like a good Jake Browning bit, but this isn't the time to this is just sad. I feel sad for the Bengals.
Kyle, don't do that. Come on, dude.
Don't have actual empathy.
Yeah.
I really do. I was like, man, I love, for years, I've said this about Jake Browning. I've said man, he's the QB1 they need. And now I just can't even really use it to its full strength anymore because we're just left in just bleh.
Yeah.
But in Superflex leagues, dude, waiver wires this week were hot in Dynasty.
I feel like, do you have Browning in a league, Mike? Or you had him at one point?
I have Burrow, so I have played the Jake Browning game before. Yes.
He's kind of the Flacco experience where you're like, dude, you're going to throw for 350 and 3, or you're going to throw 4 INTs. It's kind of fun to figure out where you're going to go with it.
Sure.
There are some people, though, in Superflex leagues that they're at this point in the season, I did not see myself starting some of these dudes. Like the Rattler, I know, I love to mess with him and give all these stats. You're getting volume. You're getting a crazy high up pace. Rattler's one of those guys you can play in a Superflex league, and it's okay.
Sure. Yeah, you definitely.
You don't feel that way?
That Kyle said. Kyle hasn't. No, you are right. I mean, the high pace of play does so much for fantasy football. It's a little nugget. We factor these things in, but I think most, targets per route run, yards for all of these cool advanced analytical stats are getting popularity, and more just kind of casual fantasy football players are made aware of these things. And it's sometimes you just need to bring it back to the basics. How many plays do you run? Because if you run 20 more offensive plays than everybody else, that makes up for inefficiencies.
Do you guys know who's dead last in offensive plays per game through 2 weeks? Which offense?
Ooh. Is it Philadelphia or somebody?
Philly's down there near the bottom.
Okay.
But it's the Vikings.
I was going to say the Vikings.
Oh, yeah. That makes they've been moving so slow. And I mean that's a whole discussion of its own of what's going on with Minnesota and JJ McCarthy, and look at it, and I'll say the kid has started 2 games for his whole career. So it is the comments out there are quite wild. As look, we're in year 2 of Caleb Williams, and I didn't hear week 2. You're like, Caleb, we gotta get rid of him. Oh, he's faking an injury so that they don't have to start him. And take it easy, man. It's the kid who's played 2 games in the NFL.
Yeah, I did JJ for my film review on last week's show with Jason, Mike, when you weren't here, and I mentioned at the segment that we did, I was like, if you watch the first half of Monday Night Football, in week 1. And your priors were that J.J. McCarthy is not going to work in the NFL, you were like, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And if you were a truther in the second half, you were like, yeah, there you go. There it is. And it's so funny how people try to make conclusions based off of 1 game or 2 games or, for him, 1 3/4 before he got injured. It's we don't know. No, we really don't know, right? We did that song and dance with quarterbacks for 4 or 5 years. Trevor Lawrence, we're still trying to figure out if he can be a legit option to take that team over the top.
We've got
Well,
we have the answers on Trevor Lawrence in that he's fine. He's okay.
but the general discourse in terms of the quarterback play around the league, it's so funny, man. Every like July, August, and not just like for fantasy, but like for NFL purposes, like, you know, you kind of talk yourself into like some sleepers, some teams that could really make the leap. And every year it's like, you know what? If you're not one of the top like 5 or 6 coaching staffs with a top 5 or 6 quarterback, like those are the teams, man. Those are the teams that can actually do it.
We also need to just throw out there for JJ. We've all been there, but as very young fathers with no sleep,
Yeah.
it's rough, man. It's like I barely survived just like huddling at my house, just like trying to keep another human being alive and myself alive, much less trying to run an offense against maybe the best pass rush in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
Some are saying.
Should have timed it up better.
That's poor planning. Come on, man.
JJ had no idea. Well, during his offseason, because, right, he got hurt. He's like, oh, man, I did not know that the cause and effect of this decision would be all of these people hating on me after a Sunday night game. But on this episode, we are going to rewind the film, look at a couple of different players, and then we're going to go through the 10 biggest target takeaways. So we looked at some of the target opportunities, some stuff on film, and we wanted to give you 10 different takeaways specifically for Dynasty. So we'll be kind of hopping around the league. I did a very, very stupid thing where I sometimes have a task and then I start doing it and I go, well, I guess I have to finish this. So I just watched every target from week 2. I didn't finish the Raiders, though. I need to confess. But I watched all about 500 other ones. And my eyes are kind of cross-eyed, but I do have some really good takeaways for us that we'll discuss.
Did you go to sleep for that game yesterday, Kyle?
I did. I didn't watch what happened with the Raiders. I mean, I saw the stat line for Geno.
It was rough, and I had, I mean, I was all by my lonesome, but I was having a Monday night sweat for my main league of like Jacoby. If Jacoby scored, it was over. I would lose. And my team didn't really deserve to win, so it's one of those where we're hoping the other team sucks more than yours. But dude, just non-stop barrage of end zone targets to Jacoby, and I'm just losing my mind, including one extremely late, like so late in the game. But so I was awake watching it and just clenched my booty hole tight as could be.
I'm Mike's co-manager, and Mike usually will text through games if we have something, but like you were on your own there, brother.
I was. I know, and it was just me.
I woke up
so lonely. I was so scared, Kyle.
Mike's just train of thought of how he's stressed out is how I woke up in the morning of like, oh, okay, we made it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Kyle's like,
and then the last was I was like, oh, never doubted it for a minute.
Meanwhile,
went over so
Kyle's
good.
already been through 3 REM cycles of sleep at that point. And Mike's just stressed out of his mind all by himself. Come on, Kyle, be a good co-manager, dude.
Seriously.
I should have stayed up for it. Let's hop into the film.
Weekly Rewind.
So every single week, we rewatch a few games and give you some of our film takeaways that hopefully you could think about for now, but in Dynasty, hopefully can color in some of the lines that you need. So Betz, you had the privilege of watching Trevor Lawrence. Congratulations. What can you tell us?
Well, Kyle, a lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot of uncertainty is how I feel after rewatching this game. And really, I went back to week 1 as well because I was trying to like figure out with the Jags, because what brought me to them and why I wanted to rewatch them was all this Brian Thomas FUD over the last, 2 days, 3 days, because of the drops. And, there's a lot of like, well, is the wrist injury? Was he afraid of contact? Does he have the dog? Mike, I mean, we're questioning in the models.
Be a dog. We don't need no meows. We don't need no cats.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I've ever questioned it for Brian Thomas, but after week 2, you got to be on notice that you need to send a clear message in week 3 that you do, in fact, have the dog, even though you're on a cat-based team.
That does complicate things a little bit. I did, I think it was funny, or not funny, but just like how obvious it was on one of those first targets where he was going over the middle and kind of short arms that leads the interception. Even the announcers, I forget who it was, they even said, like, direct quote, they're like, he made a business decision there. It was like, oh no, like you don't want the announcer saying that about you.
When the announcers call you out, you know you messed up.
Yeah, exactly. But what I wanted to kind of like draw away from the conclusion was how much of that was like really the truth with Brian Thomas Jr., how much of it was maybe like scheme related, how much of it was Trevor Lawrence. And don't get me wrong, like there were like 3 to 5 like egregious plays from Brian Thomas Jr. in this game as far as drops and those alligator arms and stuff like that. I feel like the scheme has looked really good with the Jags. So like I was super encouraged by that. You're seeing a lot of like the screen game that Liam Cohen had with Tampa that was so successful. You saw Bashal Tutin have the touchdown on a screen. Travis Etienne had a touchdown on a screen pass. But the thing that I feel like I'm like stuck with is something is missing in this offense to like really get them over the hump. I don't know if it's Trevor Lawrence's inconsistency because he will have a great throw and then 3 plays later we'll have a boneheaded interception. It just kind of throws things off track. So that to me is one thing I'm trying to look for to like see if Cohen can actually get the best of Trevor Lawrence, because we talked about it all summer and I feel like we've seen flashes here and there. But the other thing is like Travis Hunter, I think, can be incredible for this offense. I feel like it's also some way like a hindrance in terms of like when he's on the field, they almost feel like they have to like force him the ball in some ways. And then I don't know if that messes up the design of the offense. The other thing is like De'Ami Brown is a legit part so far through 2 weeks. He's a 16% target share. That's not incredible for fantasy, but like that takes away opportunities for his teammates. Brenton Strange is giving you 5-6 targets a game. So like for fantasy, it's spread out almost too much in a way where I really wish it would condense on like just Brian Thomas Jr. and just Travis Hunter. I don't know. The film takeaways for me with Lawrence were like, I'm still waiting, man. I mean, among all quarterbacks this year, 28th in passer rating, 32nd in completion percentage over expected. He's 25th in YPA. So yes, the scheme looks good. The weapons are talented. It's just like, man, I really want Trevor Lawrence to make a leap. I just don't know how good Trevor Lawrence is.
I've got a hot stat for you because I brought up before that he is a first read thrower like Tua. It's just like if it's not there. And this is per fantasy points. But if you sort based on if it's a secondary read or a scramble drill, meaning like, hey, you just got to go for it. The only quarterbacks that has a lower passing yards per game in those scenarios is J.J. McCarthy so far this year. So in other words, when the play breaks down, it's not good. I mean, his YPA is 4.2. It's just not something that's part of his game. And what's weird, in college, he felt like he was unflappable. Like every single big game, that's what he kind of came in with. So can that work? Can that be fixed? That's one of the things that I've had a hard time with. Every single time we talk about Trevor Lawrence, I feel like we have to first start with Liam Cohen. And it's more of like an adjacent argument. And I just worry about players like that if that works over time. I mean, we're not doing anything with Brian Thomas though, right? We're just like status quo.
I mean, if your league if somebody is like worried after this week, in Dynasty, nobody's going to like trade away Brian Thomas Jr. after one game, but like just, I'm fading this FUD on Brian Thomas Jr. Like this dude was a superstar with Mac Jones. Yes, Trevor Lawrence might not be the best quarterback in the NFL, but like
Mac Jones off the couch. Was it 3 tutties?
McCorkle, man, he looked good. Well, not really. The first half, he did not look good.
He did not look good, but he got it done.
He got it done. Man, he's seen so many targets Brian Thomas Jr. has. I think they're going to get it fixed with him. I would be, if there's any little window of opportunity, I would be buying. I will put context around Trevor Lawrence too. Like I mentioned how bad the numbers have been for him. They have played the Bengals and the Panthers in weeks 1 and 2. Like what happens when they play a legit defense? You know, I mean,
a lot of cats.
A lot of cats in those games. Kyle.
A lot of cats and birds in the NFL.
They got stuck. They're like, you know what? What's another one of those birds we can name our team? Any thoughts about Travis Hunter? Because he's getting a lot of low ADOT stuff, and I'm just waiting for these explosive plays.
I mean, I'm still waiting to see something special. It's only been 2 weeks. You know, this past week he played a ton on defense, like a ton. Yeah, you can play both ways technically in the NFL. It's going to be really hard to sustain that over an entire season. And I don't know how serious the injury was to one of their corners they just had, but that's part of the reason also Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, that he played so much on defense that we just haven't seen anything special from him quite yet. You know, he's a rookie. It'll take time. It's a new scheme, all those things. So I'm not like worried about it per se, but definitely feel like, you know, a little disappointed based off of the first couple weeks.
In the fourth quarter, they definitely picked, or at least tested him in a couple of spots down the stretch, which he's a rookie. We still need to remember that. Mike, who you got on film?
Okay, so I watched Marvin Harrison Jr. of the Arizona Cardinals because we had week 1 where it was like, holy crap, did they figure something out here? And we're finally going to get Marv going. And then week 2 was a massive dud. So I went and I'm watching week 2, all of just, every snap that he's on the field. And the way that the game opened up, so, man, I don't even know how to, perfectly craft this tale because it's 2 parts. Nay, it's 3 parts. We have Marvin Harrison in his evaluation. You have the offense, and then you have Kyler. Because the second play, Kyler ends up scrambling out, and if he had just looked up as he was running towards the sideline, as many quarterbacks do. I mean, we just, what was it, that primetime Caleb Williams throw in week 1 where he scrambles out, he's he's running, and then just fires an absolute laser beam because a wide receiver had gotten open. Marv had made a secondary move to go that was smart and looked like there could have been a big play there, but Kyler didn't see it. Then Marv draws a PI. You're like, okay, that's fine. Then there's a fade ball in the corner, and it is just, guys, it's so soft and so weak. Kyle, you know exactly what play I'm talking about.
Yeah, he was flat-footed.
He doesn't make any real effort to get the ball. It's like he just conceded, the ball's not thrown well enough. I'm not going to catch it. It is weird. And then I don't want to read every single play out, but he had a deep out with a just disgusting drop, and it there's no easy stuff happening. It's like of last year, our complaint was they're not drawing up easy touches for Marvin Harrison Jr., at least with the regularity that a top 5 pick in the NFL draft should be getting. There needs to be, when you spend that draft capital, you have plays designed where you literally just give this player an easy throw and let him see what he can do. They do not seem to do that. When I finally got to a route where he ran a quick curl route, well, so did Trey McBride, and guess who got the ball? I mean, Kyler looks for Trey McBride so much. Then there was a play where he finally had a shallow crosser, and it was a catch and run, and he could have scored, and he really just had to beat one defender, and he just kind of runs into him and falls down. It didn't seem like any real effort to make a football move happen. He didn't just try and run him over because Marv's a big guy. It was so incredibly disappointing to see the film match what the output was of nothing easy is being drawn up for him. The times that it was it just felt like every route he's running is a deep post. Like every route is 15, 20 yards down the field, which is great when it hits, but Kyler is not looking for it. There were several times where, where if you loft it just right, it can go over the linebacker and then in front of the safety. It's that hole, down midfield. Seemed like there's a lot of times that's available, but Kyler's not taking it. So I was really, really bummed, honestly, when I got done watching the film, and I don't know how it changes unless the offense and the offensive coordinator just gets, just a good slap in the face. Like, dude, stop it. Get the ball to Marv. Figure it out, because they want Kyler to figure it out, where the offense needs to be schemed in a way where Marv has to figure it out.
It seems like sometimes he's a really, really cool decoy. Like that Michael Wilson touchdown.
Exactly. Yes.
That Michael Wilson touchdown was awesome. It was a great play call. The timing was perfect. Back of the end zone. Like it was great, but it was just on the play, it's like, oh, this play was clearly designed so that the ball wouldn't come to Marv on this play, which is
defenses
fine.
have to worry about him. But I don't, dude, and I'm saying just even the effort, the drop was so bad. Those couple plays that I described of the effort feeling low, and then you see the catches from Michael Wilson. It's where he just immediately is grinding and making moves and running as hard as he can and scores. And it's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm being overly pessimistic, but it feels bad.
Yeah, it doesn't help that, like you said, the conversation all summer was like, okay, well, maybe if they scheme him some of those looks in year 2, we can, you can mask some of these other concerns and the volume will be there at least. Well, obviously that's not been the case. And last year, he was the only wide receiver among qualified wide receivers that saw more than a quarter of his targets on go routes, right? So that was the concern, was like the downfield stuff. And like you said, a lot of these posts, all of these outbreaking routes, stuff like that.
It's at least it's not just a go, and they're like letting him curl it inside a little bit.
Yeah.
But Kyler's not throwing it.
No, and I shared this graphic from PFF this morning in regards to Kyler. Like, he is dead last, and it's only 2 weeks so far, but like he's dead last in the league in terms of when he's under pressure, when the play result happens, how many of those are actually targets to his pass catchers. He's dead last in the league at that. A lot of scrambling, obviously, with Kyler Murray. You'd think that throwaways, sacks, stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a lot of issues, I think. I don't think it's just one thing that you're going to say, that's definitely how you fix it. But I feel like we're having the same conversation we had last year, and obviously through 2 weeks, nothing has really changed.
I'm going to throw this in there because he has 19 games played in his career. In the 8 games that he scored a touchdown, it's almost 16 fantasy points per game. In the 11 he hasn't scored, it's under 5. So basically, does he score a touchdown? That's when you're happy. And the only player that I can really think about that he's on the same trajectory is DK Metcalf, who you go, man, there's a game where you could score 3 touchdowns and you're really big and it works. And he's kind of topped out as wide receiver, the last couple years, 18, 16. He had a 12 finish. He also had a season last year where it was okay, well, you got 5 touchdowns, you got over 100 targets. The yardage was kind of there, but you just ended up as this nebulous wide receiver 2 or 3. I want to ask the question for Dynasty. Is Marv on this track where he's going to end up being a nebulous wide receiver 2 for a long time?
I don't think I'm not going to say definitively about that.
Right. I don't think anybody should have a dogmatic take, but it scares me.
Yes, I and having the full first season and being 2 weeks in, I am nervous about it.
I mean, I think just based off of his expectation and pedigree, obviously everything we've seen has been disappointing. I'm just trying to pull up his career efficiency marks here.
Well, like I'm saying, Betz, it's the multiple. He's got 3 problems right now.
Yeah,
it's not. You're like, oh, I feel pretty good about the scheme in Jacksonville and how they're doing. I don't feel good about how they are utilizing him. And it's this is super galaxy brained, of course, but it's the breakout of Trey McBride, I think might be detrimental to Marv just from the mentality of how Kyler is viewing the field.
Yeah.
And I would go to Trey McBride too. The dude is an absolute dog and he gets it done, but he's not
2-0.
Yeah,
they tried to not lose the game.
They are 2-0 with 2 cardiac arrest endings, and I don't know. So we got 3 problems, and we need at least one of them to change to have any sort of improvement.
Yeah, 1.62 so far through a year and a couple games. Yards per out run is the kind of the mark we're at. It's fine, but that's not a dominant player, and we thought he could be that, and he still could become that, right? We don't want to close the door on that, but unless Trey McBride is out with injury, why would you change it, right? Like Mike's saying. So I do feel in the short term, expecting the leap to be anything more than a top 24 wide receiver seems like fool's gold.
I watched final team we'll talk about here, the Saints and the Kellen Moore offense, specifically Chris Olave and Juwan Johnson, or as I've been calling him all today, Juwanson. Just put it together. Juwanson.
Love a good mashup.
Yeah. I will say that this team is volatile play to play. Rattler is one of those players where you're like, oh, I get why you were highly thought of in college at some point, then fell from grace, then came back at South Carolina. I get it. Chris Olave, play to play. Super volatile. He almost had a touchdown on his first target. That was super frustrating. The next 2 targets, both of them were almost picked. And then the next couple of ones are he fell down. It was a tough sideline catch. Nothing was easy. Juwan Johnson, exact same thing. The first 2, hands of stone. They did not work on those plays. But I wrote this down, but he was the first read and he was ISO'd outside. Pretty cool.
I think that was the problem. He's like, I can't believe they are letting me be the first read and I'm getting the ball immediately. I'm going to go make something happen. And then he skipped over the catch part.
I bet his diary from like this summer and training camp was like, today Kellen said I could be a huge part of the offense, and just slowly just kind of builds on like, I think I'm going to be a thing this year. Like I'm the slot guy. And just to give you a couple stats, he has the second highest first read target share of any tight end in football right now, 32% of the team. He's on pace right now. I know it's 2 weeks in for 170 targets, people.
Who's first? Do you have that?
It's McBride.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That checks
makes
out.
sense.
Yeah.
That's wild.
But the cool part is after the drops, it's not like they went away from him. You know, it wasn't great, but it's like he skied over somebody for a first down. It was like a basketball player move. The TD was awesome that he had. He had another little block and leak out, which is like one of my favorite plays for tight ends where they're sitting there. It's the Kittle play, right? Where like he blocks, Kittle would like fall down and then get up, and then you have this screen play. McBride's great at it. It's awesome. So my takeaway for this team is that it's still going to be volatile, but if the target share is condensed around these two, it's awesome. And Juwan Johnson, like the touchdowns have been there before. We had a couple years ago where he caught 7 of them. He was the tight end 11 on the season. Like if he ends up still with 5 touchdowns, which isn't crazy, and he sees 100 to 120 targets, that's a top 5 tight end, people.
I think that we are well on the way of him being top 5 end of year.
Juwanson.
I
love it. So any last thoughts on Olave before I just like cry myself again and again and again asleep?
I mean, the volume, the same reason that Juwan Johnson is so valuable, Olave will be as well. I would not be moving away from him.
And Kellen Moore we trust. The slot pass catchers in Kellen Moore's offense with this. Look, yes, the quarterback play is not ideal, but like the pace is there. Probably going to lose a lot of games. The volume should be there for these guys. Even if they're not stealing plays, like they should be in your lineup because of the volume they're going to get.
He'll just never catch a touchdown ever again. That's
Probably
what I'm
not.
assuming for Olave.
Yeah, probably not.
Because, I looked this one up. Hunter Renfrow had 2 touchdown catches inside the 5 this week.
Of course.
That's as many as Olave has for his whole career. So, cool.
Yes. Okay.
Cool, guys. All right, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, today we are going to break down the 10 biggest target takeaways, looking at some different teams. Let's get into it.
Dynasty Download.
Like I said, there were about 600 plus targets, and you guys can tell me that Jacoby Myers was great in his targets for Monday night. But I did notice this.
He was great at getting targets.
Oh, he earned them.
Yes.
And yet, they were not efficient Geno targets, is what I'm hearing.
But this is definitely process over results.
Betz is like the huge Jacoby guy. He loves Jacoby. He thinks he's like the
I love Jacoby.
Dude's good, man.
Let's talk about it. Yeah, he's a good player. But we will not. This is not a Jacoby slander part. Get
How
out of
does
here.
his team feel about him?
They love him.
They want him. They wouldn't trade him.
We won't trade you, but we're not paying you either.
No, they want him to honor his contract unless something happened, then they would just get rid of him.
Back in the day, though, Patriots said, no. We got to get Juju for the same amount of money. We'll take that guy. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, no, Jacoby's great. But if you like touchdowns, Jacoby's not great. But if you're in a PPR league, you need 6 catches for about 70 yards every week, Jacoby's your dude.
That's fine. That's great. Full PPR. I'm totally cool with that. That's the Keenan Allen life. I get that world. I did track the targets that wide receivers have seen so far through 2 weeks, and I compared in the last couple years. Targets per outrun, yards per outrun are down from each of the last 2 years. So wide receivers have not been as efficient so far if we're just looking at it across the league. But I'm going to give us 10 takeaways, and I want to see if you guys agree or disagree with me. We'll break down these in a dynasty lens. But the first one is the Packers wide receivers, and I'm using air quotes there because I don't know if they have a wide receiver they trust other than Romeo Doubs. And they do trust one of them on special teams. We know that now. We know that for sure.
That was so much fun.
I was watching that game with a couple of friends. We went out to dinner, and at the very end, we're like, wait, who was that who just caught the ball? Is that like Malik Heath? Who was that guy? No, it was Wicks.
I think collectively, the United States of America went, what is Wicks doing out there?
When
Winning
it
the
happened,
game is what he's doing.
Normally, like when you watch those, you're like, there's no chance this is actually going to get recovered. But when I saw Wicks on the field, and I was like, oh no, the ball is actually going to Wicks. Like they might recover this, but credit to him.
That's probably a product of the Jaden Reed injury.
Correct. But credit to him. Looked good doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he did.
I mean, we had, what was it, the years and years ago, the onside kick where the Green Bay tight end who went up and he bobbled it. You guys don't remember what I'm talking about?
Was that
No,
Tunyon?
was that Tunyon?
Was it Tunyon?
Maybe.
I can't remember who did it, but it was the blocker, and it was like you should have went and blocked. Instead, he tried to be the hero and catch it, and then they botched it, and then the other team ends up winning.
Then he loses his job because of it, probably. Wicks was super involved at the very beginning. Kraft and Dobbs led the team in routes run by a wide margin. So that is interesting because Kraft is a baller. He was awesome. I wanted to bring up Matthew Golden. Because through 2 games, people, this first-round wide receiver has 4 total targets.
Sorry, I got to jump. Brandon Bostic? Is that what it was? It was the 2015
I remember
NFC
the
Championship game.
But
Instead of blocking and letting Jordy Nelson catch the ball, this dude tried to do it.
Come on, Brandon.
And Brandon was never
just catching
heard from
strays
again.
on here. Sorry, Brandon.
10 years later.
Assuming that was him. Assuming AI is right. All right, continue.
never
Kyle.
wrong.
Oh, it
It's
is. It is often wrong. Matthew Golden has 4 targets through 2 games, people. He hasn't hit 10% target share yet in a game. And we had our concerns coming into it. I will say towards the end of the summer, I definitely was like, maybe I'm just wrong on this guy. Maybe like everything I'm hearing, my Packers friends are telling me this guy's going to be great. Everything in camp.
You abandoned us.
I didn't abandon. I just was open to the possibility.
No. This Dynasty pod was very stern in our Matthew Golden. Let him go, let him bypass you in rookie drafts, and then you jump ship. You're like, I'm all about it.
No. I will be very clear. I have him basically nowhere. Not even in best ball. And yet, I want to give this stat and then ask the question. So I'm not here to dunk on the player, but I did have to give the stat that says first-round wide receivers over the last decade who saw 4 or fewer targets in their first 2 NFL games. Here's the list. Matthew Golden, DJ Moore, so not bad, Mike Williams, Kadarius Toney, Jamison Williams, Devontae Parker, John Ross, Laquan Treadwell. Some boom-bust guys in this here group. He has 1 first-read target, and he did have some huge plays this past week, like huge downfield plays that didn't work out.
Yeah, Love just missed him.
Yeah. I was going to say, if he connects on that one, I feel like people are just excited about Golden, right? It's just the ball was underthrown, and obviously if he catches that, it's a different conversation.
I think the question I have is, what do you need to see for you to start confidently starting him? Because other than a bomb touchdown, he's still going to be a 1-for-40 player. That's what it would have been if he would have caught that one in the end zone. So, like, what do you need to see snap-wise? Do you think he can get up there with Dobbs, who's like, Dobbs ends up being 70+% of the routes, and yet it feels ambiguous behind him?
I think he has a really decent opportunity now with Jaden Reed being hurt. Like I don't think he'll surpass Dobbs. Dobbs is just too much of a well-rounded, can do everything that the team asks him to do. But it's like, Wicks is next, so you should be able to, as a first-round talent, surpass Dontavian Wicks and take over. And what I need to see at least 4 targets consistently, like the 2 targets, and maybe you get it, maybe you don't. That's a desperation bye week fill in right now, but I think we should be at a higher target volume by the midway point of the season here for Golden. It is definitely accelerated now. Like if Jaden Reed didn't break that collarbone, I would be far more concerned about the development for Golden.
Yeah, I agree. I think now's the time, right? Like if you're at the Packers and you have these wide receiver issues, remember Christian Watson's still coming off the ACL. He's not going to be ready for another handful of weeks. No Jaden Reed. It's like, if it doesn't happen soon, then you're asking yourself in week 8, like, this guy's had all the opportunity to get on the field and earn these targets. And no disrespect to Romeo Doubs, but as a first-round NFL talent wide receiver, like, in theory, you should be able to overtake Romeo Doubs and Dontavian Wicks. So if that doesn't happen, some players, they don't do much in their first year and they turn it around and they're outliers. But like at that point, also because my priors were, I don't know that he's going to work in the NFL based off his profile, I will then probably double down and say, if I have him, like, I'm willing to, move him for something valuable if I can get it. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of now is the time you want to see him start to ramp up his playing time, his usage, all those things. The tricky part with the Packers, though, right, is like, if they are able to get out to a lead, they are totally content to give Josh Jacobs 21 carries. No problems at all. Like Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur, they will be kind of neutral in their pass rate when games are close. But if they are up with a lead, they will sit on it, and that's cool. They are playing the Browns this week as I think like 8.5, 9-point favorites, something like that. So is it going to happen this week? I don't know. And then you're entering the next week at the same conversation. So
I was going to bring it up of like, this is a really good opportunity. I mean, that the Cleveland Browns are, for all of the hilarity about the team, I mean, they through 2 weeks have shut running backs down.
Yeah.
And that includes the king. Like they held the king to 20 yards or whatever it was. Like Jacobs is a starter this week for fantasy football, of course, but I would be managing my expectations of even the greatness that the Green Bay Packers are. It's, Jacobs has not, to me, it's not just chunk run after chunk run. It's keeping drives alive and running for like just around 4 a carry. And looking at the way that Lamar torched that secondary, Matthew Golden should, I'll put it this way. If he doesn't have an impact play this week, I will be pretty disappointed.
Yeah. The Browns were dead last in explosive plays allowed last year. So you saw that in the passing game. I just think the hardest part with Golden is our major concern was, can you earn targets? You didn't in college in terms of targets per out run. You're not doing it right now. And will that change? And you look at some of these players that I just mentioned on the list, like DJ Moore was more than just, like, he actually had a touchdown in his first 2 games, big play. Jameson Williams got to grow into that role after 2 years. Devontae Parker took 4 or 5 years or whatever it was. And so all of these guys are just very volatile. And that can work in a double flex league. I just don't know if you'll ever get to that spot. Jordan Love is very happy being equitable and, making sure the ball is kind of spread around. My second target takeaway for this week is about Zay Flowers, and that he's in the right place at the right time for Dynasty. He's 25 years old. And then for this year 3, it's gone beyond just like, oh, he has a good target share to, oh, he is the clear dominant first read for fantasy. Not just like it's good for the offense, but right now, 44% of the team's first read targets are going his way. It's awesome. And it's cool to see that he's getting downfield targets out of the slot. My issue with Zay Flowers, like for the last couple of years, is like, is this just going to be some low ADOT, souped up version of Jarvis Landry? It's like, you can get targets, but it's like not explosive the way that I want it to be. And yet he's been awesome. He was overthrown 3 times in the first half, where Zay Flowers was open, Lamar missed him. I did find this stat interesting because he's 35 games into his career, and the players that he is most similar to in terms of production, 35 games in his career, are Stephon Diggs, Chris Olave, and Devontae Smith. They have very similar numbers across the board: receptions, yards per target, touchdowns, all of these guys. And all of them, their biggest bugaboo is that they didn't get a ton of touchdowns. And yet, I feel like Zay is trending in a way where if you have him in Dynasty, like, this is that season that he can kind of blow up, and he'll probably get a contract extension this offseason if he, ends up having a wide receiver 1 type season. The other player that I compared him to is like, he's like T.Y. Hilton, where he never felt like a 1 for fantasy, And yet he had these explosive moments where just like he was with a quarterback, Andrew Luck, who just was awesome, and he's with Lamar. So with Zay, is it one of those things where you just feel like I'm locked in? This is a really strong wide receiver 2 that could end up as a wide receiver 1 end of year. Is that where you guys are at?
Go ahead, Betz.
I think it's still tough to see like a true wide receiver 1, like top 12 fantasy season from Zay, but top 18, something like that, I think is definitely in the range of outcomes if he keeps this up. It's been really encouraging to see, like you said, the usage, not just some of the real like big boy NFL routes that he's getting in terms of downfield looks, but also the short scheme stuff. Like the fantasy gold comes from being able to get all of those things, not just one or the other. And like you said, in the first year or two, everything was like around the line of scrimmage, and it was like, okay, if Mark Andrews is out, you know what you're getting in Zay Flowers. A lot of volume, short, close to the line of scrimmage, but hopefully he makes some plays after the catch. You're actually seeing him like take a true year 3 leap into being what he could be in the NFL as far as a route runner and his usage. I do have concerns about overall touchdown volume as long as Derrick Henry is here. I know last week it was a dud, but historically the Ravens, just like when they're in the 5-yard line, inside the 5, inside the 10, they're going to run the football quite a lot. So I still struggle with like that huge ceiling outcome, but Zay's locked in right now. Top 24 option every week, no question, until anything changes with this offense. And man, I love what they're doing there with Greg Roman. It's just, not Greg Roman. What am I saying? Greg Roman?
Todd Monken.
I'm having a flashback to last night, or
Giro, man.
to Monday's game
Giro on the Chargers.
with Giro.
Giro's everywhere.
He's everywhere with Monken. The scheme is just awesome, and Lamar's playing lights out. So yeah, as long as Zay's there and doing what he's doing, he's in your lineup.
Yeah. Rest of season, Mike, do you view him as like a really strong wide receiver 2?
Yeah, I do. If I got Zay just in case you're asking that question, no, I'm not trading him. I would ride this out.
I would too. I think it could be one of those special seasons where it might be like, oh, this was the best season of his career. I'm not expecting this every single year from here on, but you just kind of ride it. I want to bring up the Giants passing pie. And Neighbors sees everything. We're not going to like say anything about Neighbors other than what were the Cowboys doing? Like, I feel like if you watch the game, it just felt like they were just like, hey, we're going to let one of the best wide receivers in the game have a lot of opportunities with a ton of space. And then when it's deep, we're not going to challenge him at all. Like it was definitely one of the games that I watched. I was like, that defense had no plan at all against the deep ball, especially. So I want to bring up Wan'Dale though, because
yes,
he's usually a fun joke that you get to bring up.
Wan'Dale is interesting. Like Wan'Dale was Zay Flowers before Zay was an NFL player. Like he's this undersized, real jittery player, gets drafted probably higher than you expected him to. And then but for me, Wan'Dale Robinson has always been like an eyeball player of like, I feel like this guy's good. And like he's just they have no idea how to properly use him, which is, I mean, watching all these guys leave the Giants to success is pretty entertaining. Like, oh, I guess Saquon Barkley really. I mean, do you remember when Saquon hit the market or whatever and goes to Philadelphia? There was like, we all had some pause of like, is this really like is Barkley really still that? No, Barkley's awesome. And it was the Giants ruining everything. Did the Giants ruin Daniel Jones? TBD. But it's nice to see them finally figure out, let's do something different with a player who actually is a skilled wide receiver. He's still undersized and everything, but the fact that he had the 3 deep receptions this year or this week was very encouraging. Now, I agree with I don't know what the Cowboys are doing. I mean, I don't know how you go from Russ week 1, who is like, this guy's going to get everyone here fired, to we can't bench him into week 2. And Russ, I don't know if you have it, Kyle, but that's probably the highest yardage total of Russell Wilson's career.
I'll look it up.
If not, it's probably top 5 at least. The thing with Russ, like, obviously he's not the quarterback he was years ago. There's a lot of issues, but he is still very, very good at the deep ball. He was good last year in Pittsburgh at that. It was like one of the few things he was good at. He was incredible on Sunday at that. It's like, if you are facing the Giants, just drop back. Do not let him throw deep, and eventually he will crumble. And it's so funny, man. I love the NFL. Like, 1 week, everybody's, you got to get Jackson Dart in there, man. It's time. Russ can't do this. Russ goes out, has a career day 5 days later. You know, it's just like, it's so funny how things change
ridiculous.
Week to week. But yeah, the Cowboys defense was a mess on Sunday. Very fortunate to get that win.
Second highest passing yards. I mean, the dude went for 452 way back in the day, 2017.
And then he had 2024, he had a blow. He had a 414. So
it's incredible.
I mean, it's just like that has never been who Russ is. And then he is the greatest quarterback of all time on Sunday.
Let me ask this question. I don't understand this. I may not be in charge of NFL coaching, HR stuff. What does Brian Daboll do? Because he doesn't call the plays, and he's an offensive head coach who likely will be fired. So, like, is he just kind of like manage people and like, hey,
leader of men, Kyle.
Great work, everybody.
Yeah, leader of men.
It's not a good look when you are the offensive guru guy. That's what you came in for. And then the play calling duties are given to Mike Kafka, and you're on your way out. So, I don't know.
Not if Russ keeps playing like that.
They play Sunday Night Football this week against the Chiefs.
That's probably...
What if they put the Chiefs to 0-3?
I would be so happy, man. Oh, my goodness.
I talked about that, I think, on Monday's show of like, that goes from a game of on Sunday night, you're just groaning, saying, seriously, schedule people. How is this you chose this, the Giants, and now I will be enthralled. It could be the crappiest, garbagiest football game ever. But if the Giants are in play to win, is going to be captivating.
That post-game Russ, little presser where he's just like, I really believed in myself and my teammates, and Russ comes and grits out a win against Mahomes.
Let's call it a walk-off field goal, 17-16. Just a
From
gross
Bucker?
game. From Bucker?
Yeah.
No. They're going to lose.
Okay. I'm totally fine with that. That's cool with me. Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, the next target takeaway I have for us is about our buddy Jaxon Smith-Njigba, who is trending towards, based on his pace, the 202,000 club. Right now, he is on pace for over 196 targets and almost 2,000 receiving yards. And it's only 2 weeks, people. But he is everything for this offense. 41% target share, 51% of the team's receiving yards. Pittsburgh tried to do more man-to-man. And there's a play in the fourth quarter where it was like Jalen Ramsey one-on-one with JSN. Seattle was up by a touchdown, and then JSN runs a go and just catches it over Ramsey. It was awesome. He is gone from, this is a cool PPR wide receiver, to what else could we see? He hasn't scored yet, by the way, but the usage is incredible. So my question for us is, what is he morphing into for fantasy? Because last year, technically he was a wide receiver 1, and yet the ride was kind of bumpy. Like, it wasn't always consistent. So how do you view him, Betz, in Dynasty? We kind of had him on that wide receiver 1 fringe list where he was like anywhere in that 10 to 13 range. Is he like trending upwards where you could say, like, I'll give you some names in a second, but like, do you view him as he's a wide receiver 1 for my fantasy team this year?
I think I view him that way. And the reason for that is because of the target competition or lack thereof going on currently. Now, Cooper Kupp had a nice day on Sunday, so give him credit, but clearly Cooper Kupp is on the way out as far as where he's at in his NFL career life cycle. Torrey Horton we like, but still a rookie, and then you have really no target competition from the tight ends. So even though this will continue to be a run-heavy offense, if he is seeing the usage he is currently seeing, which perhaps that could regress, but it's not just the overall raw volume, it's the fact that he is developed into where he was, kind of like Zay Flowers in the first year, low ADOT, everything close to line of scrimmage. Now you're getting him on these high percentage looks down the field on crossers and slants and stuff like that, where you can bank on that, I think, week to week as far as his usage goes. So yeah, he has taken the true, year, like end of year 2 into year 3 leap that we see with some players. I think he's legit, and we have to go back to like what he did at Ohio State, where he was doing some of this stuff in school. Then he kind of got pigeonholed by Shane Waldron in his first year, and now you're seeing what he actually can be. So, yeah, I think this is the real JSN version we're going to see, hopefully for the rest of the season. I think he's a true locked-in one for your team if you got him.
How is Shane Waldron still employed in the NFL, guys?
We're all trying to figure out who did this with the Jaguars. We're all trying to figure it out.
How many situations does he need to destroy before teams stop hiring him?
Well, you know how he got his job. He was with the Rams for 4 or 5 years.
He's still got the scent on him.
Yeah. And I think, so Liam Cohen was at UMass as well. I want to see if they overlapped. Because that's really how it is. They were buddies.
Yeah, I think they did.
Oh, they're just broing down.
Okay, so Liam Cohen played quarterback at UMass. And then, yes, in 2014, 2015, same coaching staff at college. So, buddies, man. That's how it works.
Isn't that just how hires always work in the NFL? Like, people hire who they know and they're friends with?
It's a lot of how life works in general.
That's
but
true.
Yeah, I think that the NFL in particular is very tight-knit of you better know somebody.
Yeah.
Like after footballers, when Mike starts like a really cool clothing line brand, he'll bring me on,
Sure.
Yeah,
Kyle's got great ideas for T-shirts.
I like hats. Could we do hats?
Okay. We'll talk hats after the show.
I feel like hats are really in these days.
Have you heard about this? Have you heard about these things? These hats? Kids love them.
Oh, Kyle. Never change.
All right, I'll give you some names real quick with JSN. Would you rather have JSN in Dynasty or Teteroa McMillan?
Ooh. I'll take JSN. I'll take JSN.
He is an extremely difficult evaluation for me because I had left the end of year 2 more of the side of doubt, which I admit that looks horrifically wrong at this point to have. It wasn't that I was like fading him. It was just I wasn't sure if I wanted in. And now that looks like a horrific mistake. So it's tough for me to have 2 weeks of it. And it's Sam Darnold. You know what I mean? Like it feels it's the guy was going back through the whole story of like him getting the flowers from all of his Ohio State brethren saying like, oh this guy was the dude, you got to get him on a team. So but it's Sam Darnold, and it's like, man, if this crumbled like a house of cards, it would not be surprising. But you still got to make your decisions. So Tet McMillan or JSN. I guess it's JSN.
Okay. We got a lot of offers for JSN. Jeremy and I have him in the main ballers. This offseason when there was kind of like this, like,
there was like, for me, there was some doubt out there.
And honestly, we didn't feel great about it, but it was one of those things where we just kind of hold steady of draft capital. He's the dude. They obviously believe with their offense they can run him as the one, and he's functioning that way. So the usage obviously is incredible. Drake London or JSN?
I still believe in Drake London. I would take London.
I think I would take London as well. Last one, Brian Thomas Jr. or JSN? That's mean.
I'm trying to not be too recency biased.
Yeah.
I would still take BTJ.
I would too.
Dude, I mean, the way that this is trending and the way the year is aligned right now, the things you might be able to trade JSN for, I hopefully I'm not being too super hot takey and hyperbolic here, but it's like Justin Jefferson. If it's just like if Carson Wentz is not great and JJ McCarthy is just, if there's troubles, like that's the level that we're talking about JSN is currently walking his way into. So that'll be really fun when people are asking us in 2 weeks, like I could trade JSN right now for Justin Jefferson in the Dynasty League. What do you do? So better start getting your thinking caps on.
It is wild. Like every single time when people send those offers on social media or whatever, you go, you know what? I actually get it. I get why there's a pause.
Yeah.
I get why there's all this, different parts. Next target takeaway is about Terry McLaurin. And it's been slow. Last year, if we forget about it, the first 2 weeks were really slow with Terry McLaurin. It was really frustrating with him. I did want to point out, though, Daniels was off the mark on a few plays. He had no time, right? Like that Thursday night game was Jane Daniels under pressure. He was blitzed a ton. He has the lowest completion percentage against the blitz in the league, by the way, which was very different than last year. A lot, like the big, long developing plays that we had last year when Terry had his 13 touchdowns, there was no chance for that on Thursday night. He did see 38% of the team's first three targets, and I thought he was fine. My question is, with Terry, how are you viewing him rest of season? Is he still a wide receiver 2 in your mind? I know we have the Daniels injuries right now that's clouding that, but Betz, do you still view him as a wide receiver 2 for this year?
I think he's on the fringe. I think there's obviously still a ceiling with McLaurin, but you really need touchdowns. Like if we go back to his year last year, he didn't have that high of a target share. Now you have Deebo Samuel doing what he's doing. You got Zach Ertz, who we all laugh about it, but like he still is seeing targets in this offense. So like I struggle to see a scenario unless one of those two guys gets injured that Terry is like truly seeing 25, 26% of the targets on a week in and week out basis, which means you're touchdown hunting with him. So for me, he's more of like a wide receiver 2/3 like flex type of guy that you're kind of relying on some of those big plays.
I think it's don't abandon ship. I know he just got the contract extension. It's not great right now. The vibes are not great, but like I would not panic sell him at all, especially in Dynasty. I know he's older, but I don't think the bottom's falling out. His usage was totally fine in that game. I wasn't like, oh, he's slow or this. It's just the game script said that he wasn't available because none of the plays were really long developing. It was him under duress the entire time. So these next couple ones we're going to hit really quick. So let's jump into a rapid round.
It's time for Rapid Round.
All right, I'm going to get you guys one by one. So, Mike, I looked at the Patriots wide receiver room. They only saw 39% of the targets, and Demario Douglas only ran 9 routes, even though Drake May was awesome. Are you buying? Yeah. Are you buying any Pats wide receiver right now in Dynasty as like a buy low? Because nobody's, other than like Boute's a nice story, is there anybody that you are like interested in buying low?
I mean, it would probably still just be Kyle Williams of the. Sorry, we're in rapid round,
Yeah,
but it would be Kyle. Like looking at the Booty, Matt Collins, Stephon Diggs, Demario Douglas is like no one is. Oh, they could be a boat. They literally is just Kyle Williams. All those other guys, you know who they are. I think for their career, at least in my opinion, they're like Jason loves Kayshon Boutte. I mean, I think it's fun. It's a nice. He can be a complimentary guy. It's like the same like Matt Collins. It's a great story. Check out it if you haven't seen Matt Collins' Instagram. People have to know about this.
So good.
It is literally like he is a charming, calm dude. It's like a dad Instagram. He's like, I'm going to teach you how to do this stuff because Matt Collins is a man who doesn't eat soup and he walks around barefoot and he teaches you how to fix things. It's fantastic. But except
for the soup take, not a great take.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I like soup.
I hate soup.
I like soup. You hate soup?
It's not good, man. I want to eat food. I don't want to drink it.
Hold on.
We've talked about this,
soup?
I feel like, before.
Yeah.
Are we talking chowders?
Yeah, chowder is part of the crew, right?
Yes.
I don't know.
It's a soup.
Yeah, but I don't like chowders that much. I like if it's
gumbo
if
soup?
it's chili, I like chili.
Sure.
I don't know the liquidy soups, man. I don't know.
That's wild, dude. Grilled cheese and tomato?
We're not just asking for bone broth here. We're saying like a hearty stew.
I stand with Mac Daddy on this one.
Chicken noodle can go in. That's only for when you're sick. That's a wild take. But anyways, I would still.
Anyway, Matt Collins' Instagram. Check it out.
It's great. There was a lot of preseason excitement for Kyle Williams. The fact that he hasn't really gotten on the field and gotten an opportunity yet, there could be a crack of a buy low moment.
That was a great rapid round response. All right, Betz, I'm going to ask you about the Eagles. Jalen Hurts has 2 completions of 10-plus air yards in 2 games. A.J. Brown's ADOT is 7.3 so far. It's been at 12.6 for his career, so low targets. How are you handling him in Dynasty?
A.J. Brown?
Yep.
Well, I'm trying to wrap it around. If there is a window of opportunity to not overpay for him, I am buying. But he was a guy that we highlighted as like entering the season. Obviously, for contender, keep him. We think he's going to be great. But this is the age where you want to maximize your value in a trade. So I'm not like going out of my way to overpay for him where I'll be stuck holding the bag in 2 years, if that makes sense. But yes, there's a lot of FUD on the Eagles pass game for obvious reasons. So if you can get him on the cheap, relatively speaking, I'm doing that.
Yeah, he was one of our trade away guys over this offseason.
Yeah.
Yep. And it was about getting value. He's under contract for 4 more years. But really, if you look at it, it's
for 4?
That's what it says through 2029. But
goodness,
they can get out after 2026 for only a $13 million dead cap. So I think with his age, I'm counting on this year, next year with the Eagles. And after that, I'm not counting on that at all. Next one's about Troy Franklin, who balled out. And we love that because we loved him on this podcast. My question is, rest of season, can he be the 2 behind Sutton, Mike?
He certainly can, as there's no one else. Like Marvin Mims is not stepping up, and Michael Thomas 2.0 is not getting much run on the field, talking about Pat Bryant. So, yeah, Troy Franklin definitely can be. But it scares me of that. You could get a full solid 6 weeks of Troy Franklin, and then Sean Payton could rug pull you and be like, yeah, guess what, suckers? It's somebody else. So I would not invest heavily, but if you got him, I don't know that, like, I guess, would you guys be trying to trade Troy Franklin right now, or are you going to ride with it?
I just like him so much that I'm just going to ride.
Yeah, I kind of view him as like I had him on my bench. I wasn't expecting anything, and this is in the range of outcomes. Sweet. I'm just going to hold him and hope. But
it is a fair fantasy take.
Tough to start him.
Of sometimes you just like a guy. You're just like, I like that guy. Yeah. He's my guy.
But I would not be shocked if he runs like 12 routes this week. Like,
exactly.
Not shocked at all because Sean Payton, man.
Yeah, I'm afraid he's on the Darius Slayton track of like, oh, man, he has some fun games, and then you can't count on him ever again. Betz. Is now the time to buy Ricky Pearsall because Juwan Jennings just had a big game. Pearsall did have some chunk plays, 15 yards, 13 yards, 14 yards, 14, like nice plays there, but we haven't seen like the monster performance, and Purdy's out. So do you think this is a good buy low moment for Ricky Pearsall?
If that exists in your league, I would entertain trading for Ricky Pearsall for sure, like before Brock Purdy comes back, because when you think about entering the season, he was like the hot, like mid-round redraft wide receiver that everybody wanted. And now the seas have kind of parted. The tricky stuff is like, yeah, it's Mac Jones, and who knows how long this will hold up. But yeah, once Purdy's back in there, I feel good about Ricky Pearsall. He had a nice week 1 with Brock Purdy, obviously closed the season very strong. So if there's an opportunity to go by, I'm definitely doing that.
The 109 next year, Pearsall.
Ooh. Without knowing too much about that range in the draft for this class, I would probably take Pearsall, but don't hold me on that.
Okay. I think a late first is where you can get it done if you want to. Last one, Mike. Are the Texans going to blunder an all-world wide receiver named Nico Collins, who had an unreal touchdown catch at 11:53 in the first quarter, and then he didn't see a target the rest of the first half?
Are they going to blunder? They will not blunder it, but we had the concerns of the offensive line and those, and just the overall change of offense of getting Bobby Slowick out of town. You hope things go up, but sometimes just things move laterally and they stay bad. So I'm still, my hopes are still up for Nico. But I mean, the Shadow Man he's behind me. I feel him. I feel the boogeyman looking at me when I'm looking at Nico.
Nico or Brian Thomas Jr. in Dynasty?
Nico.
Okay. I think I'm Nico as well. That's going to do it for this episode. Make sure you check out the Ultimate Dashboard. If you're a Foot Clan member, you can optimize all of your teams. We'll be back next week reviewing some more film, talking more Dynasty with you. Have a good week. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Fantasy Footballers Dynasty Podcast. If you want to take your Dynasty skills to the next level, check out thefantasyfootballers.com.